Yo, what's up, boys? It's your man back for another video. Now, today, after long last, I finally returned from my 2 weeks, maybe, I don't know. And just for a little update on that, I've started working at Cello's. Don't know if you know where that is, but I'm working now. And I have to kind of base this around that now. Usually, everything else was based around this, but it flip-flopped. So now I gotta base that, or base this around that, whatever. So I will be uploading at least once a week, or trying to, and I should be able to pump in more figures because I'm going to be making some cash money. We're going to be cash money millionaire out here. Alright, so on to the subject of this video. We have my custom, I guess, more like a repaint of the pumpkin wrapper from Power Rangers. Now, I don't know much about the character, but I do know this. He's dripping. And I really like the character design. And from what I've learned in my little bit of research on him, it seems what he does is he takes you, like he'll be talking to you, right? He'll be talking to you, and then he'll hit you with something like this, and then you'll be a pumpkin. So his accessories later on show to that. Now, starting with this man, we'll move him out of the way and start with the box. This is from Power Rangers, Hasbro figure, nice little Hasbro collection over here, and with the Marvel Legends. This guy, you can see it more on the back of the box, but there was not an ounce of paint on this entire figure, and that's why I had to go in. I had to take it into my own hands and clean this man up so that he wouldn't look like crud. And with just this light paint job, it makes like a $20 figure way more worth it. And it looks really good too. Like the sculpting, they had a lot of good sculpting on this figure, and the no paint just made it look like crap. So now that we're done, now that we're done with the box, we can look into paint and sculpt. Now, of course, the paint on this figure, woo! I don't know who did it. It's tremendous. Where it wasn't when I first got the figure, I don't think there was a single little itty bit of paint on the figure, besides maybe this ring on the eye right here, because I didn't do that. But besides from that, there wasn't a single little bit of paint on the entire figure, and it looked pretty bad. So I just did a nice little black wash with the iconic, grab it here, Walmart paint. I just did a nice black wash all over the figure. All I did was put the black. You don't even have to use water. All you really have to do is brush it on, make sure it gets in all them little crevices, and then take a paper towel and kind of mat it on it so it takes the stuff off the top but leaves it in the grooves. Beautiful. Which is, for those who remember, that's the same exact process I used for this Springtrap figure. And it really works if you do it. It's not too hard, and it can make a really good impact on a figure, especially with a figure like this that has such nice sculpting on it. Like all these little grooves are all sculpted in. All the laces here have nice sculpting on them. There's even lines behind it. All this grass stuff, the vines and leaves look really good. And that's when I saw the figure. I bought it because I wanted him. He has a cool character design, and then I saw that there was just untapped potential, and I think he looks really good. I'm not sure if it's more accurate with him being kind of dirty, but I feel like it would fit because this guy, he reminds me of the Scarecrow. So I'm figuring he's going to be dirty, nasty, disgusting. And I think the black wash helped a lot, and it exuberated the sculpt. I just made that word up. Alright, now moving over to articulation. This guy's big old chrome dome looks up pretty decently. Looks down alright. And of course, it's just on a big fat ball joint, so it can go all the way around, all the up and down, the pivots, whatever you'd like. This neck piece is a separate piece, so it just flops around a little bit. It makes it a little gappy at the head, but if you kind of flatten it out a little more, it doesn't look too bad at all. At the shoulders here, he's got these vine flap things that kind of get in the way a little bit, but not too much. They come up about 90, and then there is actually a butterfly joint in there, which is cool because it's like I didn't figure that this figure would have so much articulation, but it actually has a really good amount. And it does, the plastic on this guy, it feels cheaper. I don't know if it's the same plastic they use for Marvel Legends, but it feels a lot cheaper and kind of like creakier and clackier. It feels like it's gonna break. So just take it easy on this guy, because he does come with a lot of accessories, so they might have done the usual where they make the figure a little cheaper and just pump in the accessories and everything else. So the arm articulation is all pretty standard over here. Got the bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, usual swivel and hinge at the wrist. At the diaphragm here, this is where it gets a little freaky. Is he does have the diaphragm cut at the top, and he does have the usual Marvel Legends ab crunch, but they really don't work that good. Oh, that's where the creakiness comes in. Together they get about that far forward, and then if you could, crackly creaking back, he gets a pretty good back. The only problem is the top diaphragm joint really isn't doing anything. It's just kind of the usual ab crunch that's working for this, which, I mean, I guess it still gets the job done, but it's one of those like useless pieces of articulation, because this could have helped a lot, but the way it's springy, I don't know, it doesn't really stick where you want it to, which is usually a Marvel Legends problem. So going down to the legs here, they kick forward that far, they kick back not too bad. And for those wondering why I keep mentioning Marvel Legends, it's because this Hasbro that made this also makes Marvel Legends, and they're pretty much the same build and the same setup, just different characters. Like this is the Power Rangers line, and that's the Marvel line. It's like SH Figure Arts doing something like that. So it comes out pretty decently. There's a nice little swivel at the thigh, double jointed knee, not too bad at all. I actually like the kneecap. There's some decent sculpting on the kneecap. And then at the boot here, there is a swivel at the top, a hinge down here going forward and back with his Green Goblin shoes. He's got a nice pivot. Let's go. So the articulation on this guy is quite good. A big problem though, he's a little outbalanced, so it's very, very hard to get him in a pose with his huge dome, because you'll get him in a sick pose doing something awesome, and they'll just fall over. I have not been able to keep this guy up for more than a day in a pose. So I guess get your balance is key skills going, because at this point you need it. So we'll move on to the accessories now. I'll actually keep them in here for the first one. We'll start with this pumpkin beam. So this is his effect piece that comes with him. It's made of some nice, little bit flexible plastic, and it's nice translucent too. It looks pretty good, and it won't break. It's got the nice enough plastic where I feel like you could really rough it up and nothing will happen, which is really, really good, because the worst is when you have fragile effect parts and they just crack and break like Figure-Rise standard. So see here, take this man, have him, you know, putting his fist forward, and you just insert, and it just kind of stays there. And now this piece also works with another one of his accessories. I hope he doesn't fall here. He comes with a pumpkin. 3 of them. Any color you like, they're all orange. Now there is slight differences in the sculpt. There's a little bit, I don't know, one's a little bit longer than the other, a little bit more ovally than circly. But that doesn't matter. We don't need to see the details of the pumpkin. We need to see the usage. So the pumpkin right here, you can just stuff it in, and then you could have him shooting the pumpkin or hitting someone with the pumpkin. But this is where it gets really bad. I don't know if there's any way you could balance him with the pumpkin in it. I've used the effect a lot, but the pumpkin in it is just too much. He can't even stand up. It is a quite cool effect though, and I do like that you can mix and match it with everything. On the package, it has it like that, so I guess he's about to shoot it at you. But I feel like it looks a little better, you know, top forward, like he is about to shoot it out of like a spring or something. Yo, boing, I like it. The accessories this guy comes with are really nice. It's a lot of decent stuff, usable along multiple lines too, because you could do anything with pumpkins. All right, so coming into his next accessories, he's got these vines. He has 2 of them, and what I'm figuring these are for is like this one. What I used it for is, if you got the Ghost Rider right here, you just put it around his foot And then it'll be like he's getting gripped in the leg or something like that. He's getting pulled toward him. Gotta get that strong man strength on. Yeah. I use it for something like that. Chain jingling. Yo, ASMR. But this is what I had it for him. I had it like he's getting gripped, you know. Fell down. And that's another use for his next accessory. He's got a nice interchangeable pair of gripping hands for both sides. And with these gripping hands, you can have him gripping his vine, and not in a weird way. You just have him, you know, assaulting the Ghost Rider, something like that. If I could get it in the hand. Yeah, there we go. I use this one for something like that. You know, he's dragging him around, assaulting him. Or you could use the other one as like a lasso, like you put it around the middle of him, and you could get him with it. The Ghost Rider's getting jumped right now. But you could do something like this, where you have him getting super assaulted with all these multiple vines, and then you could have like a pumpkin on him or something. And there actually is, if you can see, another use for these pumpkins. If we pick up the Ghost Rider here, move him out of the way, get that head off of Dale, you can see that these pumpkins can plug on to any Marvel Legends sized ball peg, and then you could have his army of the dead, or army of the pumpkins. And this is probably the coolest part, because you can it fits on pretty much any ball joint, and if you heat them up, you could probably even get it on bigger things. But now you could literally just make an army of pumpkins for this man to lead. Like, you could, for setting up shots, you could do it. You could have him turning people into pumpkins, and it would look great. Now, let me get this out of the way. Let me put the Ghost Rider's head back on. I think it's actually just a cool bit of, it's like playability, I guess. You could just pose more different uses for it, all those kind of things. And that's cool. I really like that. I think just the pumpkins alone were good enough, because you could set up shots with, like, I had King Kong eating one, and it was not too bad. It looked pretty good. All right, now that we're done with the accessories, it's a good hefty handful, and I just want you guys to know this figure is only around $20 for retail, and you get all this good stuff with him, which I was blown away when I saw that $22 was retail. Of course, I waited till he was on clearance to buy it, but nonetheless, he retails at $20. So now, moving past the stinginess and on to comparisons. Bring this guy a little bit more. We'll just throw the Ghost Rider right next to him for a nice little comparison. And then the man I mentioned earlier, the old Springtrap, coming in hot. I like this. This shows that figure big. I don't know. He's got a lot of heft to him. The head is the main part about it, but he's still got a decent amount of heft to him. And the body, it looks like it'll fit in with your Marvel Legends. And I even I have this guy on my NECA display because it kind of fits for the horror-esque thing. Which I think this guy, I guess if you do the paint job, or even if you don't, he could fit for really anything. He's got that horror-y kind of design. I mean, if you're not a Power Rangers fan, you don't have a Power Rangers display, I think this guy would fit for anything else. Like, he's got that cool design. I really like the design of him. And I think that would, it makes it so that he can fit in any display. And depending how you do it, you could even have him fight the Ghost Rider. That was actually my plan, because he looks like the Scarecrow, and I like when the Ghost Rider fights the Scarecrow, so something like that. I think he definitely fits, and he definitely looks good for it, too. All right, now moving these idiots out the way. Getting some more idiots over here. Got the man Jason Voorhees for NECA, just to show a little bit more of the scale. And then, just because, sexy old Mafex Venom. Again, I think it shows that this guy could fit with any line. You could put him with a NECA figure and it'll look good. You could put him with a Mafex figure and it'll look good. Those are like two opposite sides of the spectrum there. And I really like that. I like when figures can fit in with anything. Like, I could put this guy with J. Jonah Jameson maybe, and he would look good, you know, like, oh, yo, what's J. Jonah gonna do this time? Is he gonna report the news on him, or is he gonna be a villain like usual? Don't even get me started. Let's just move on. So now for the last comparison, we've got the Monkey Man here. Boom. And then a little sneak peek at the next comparison, next figure review next week. We've got the Monster Arts King Kong. Yo, woo, yeah, woo, let's go. Now, this, I guess this is the nice little scale showing here. He fits somewhere around 6.5 inches, because NECA is 7-inch, and the monkey's huge anyway. So I'm guessing this guy's probably around 6 inches. I'm not sure. The head is big, so that's probably what does it. I don't even know. At this point, I'm just rambling. And let's not do that. All right. So for some closing thoughts, I guess, at the end here, this is a really, really good figure, especially if you give it some tender love and care and put some nice paint on it. It'll be an even better figure. Now, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna try and just do one video a week now. I know I usually do Tuesday and Thursday. I'm thinking it might just cut the difference and do one on Wednesday or something like that. It's not a bad idea. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to try and keep up with the once a week again, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.